Hello everyone and welcome back finally into Russell's Movie Reviews. I know I've been gone for about 3 weeks now, but if you guys want to learn more about why I've been gone, I posted a channel update video which which I talk about why I've been gone. So if you guys want to figure that out, go and check out that video. But I'm back with the movie reviews, and today I will be reviewing something that um, I think everyone was expecting at some point, especially with the whole like the video game craze. Starting with the Super Mario Brothers movie, which I did cover on the channel, as well as um, you know, several other ones like Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, and Street Fighter. Um, but even when the Mario movie came out, people were like, "Where is the Sonic movie?" Well, as you guys can tell by the title and the thumbnail, we are going to be talking about this Sonic the Hedgehog released in 2020 and starring Ben Schwartz, James Marsden, and Jim Carrey. Um, so, uh, so I just want to, like I do in every single one of these reviews, I want to discuss my history. Um, like I said, when I started doing research about movies, I've been hearing about these video game movies and how like most of the time they are absolute garbage. And yeah, they're pretty much right about that. Like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, um, that's the only one I could really, or like they said like Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Um, I mean, like the Super Mario Brothers movie is bad, but it's like a fun kind of bad, which I personally agree with. I think that overall, in terms of actually trying to stick with the what the Mario franchise was, poor attempt. But as an actual movie, it was actually okay. So, um, and then obviously we had the Mortal Kombat movie, which is probably one of the more successful adaptations of a film or of a video game translated to a movie. That's an okay movie. In terms of a Mortal Kombat story, it's a very good one, a very good translation. Then we had Street Fighter, which came out before Mortal Kombat. And yet it was released after. And then that was kind of way too many characters. Um, Overall, I probably will actually discuss that in a future episode. But suffice to say, as of now, it's just a very it's a mess. Um, but when I started hearing news about the Sonic movie, I'm like, okay, this might be able to go somewhere. And then obviously we had the initial teaser trailer where I don't want to go too much into it because people have already talked to death about how the trailer kind of basically ruined or like of any hope there was initially. It was all gone when the teaser was released. I mean, yeah, the initial design of Sonic, um, I mean, having Gangsta's Paradise in the background, it was just, oh my god. Um, but we all knew that Jim Carrey was going to be coming back in this film, and he's probably going to be the best part about it. And then as 2019 went on, we started getting more and more trailers, and then and then with the redesign of Sonic, that's when I'm like, okay, maybe, maybe there's a glimmer of hope. Maybe this could actually be good. Um, and then it kept on getting delayed, and it came out on August 21st of 2020, and um, I'm not gonna get into my thoughts. I'm gonna say that for the end of the review, but I'll just say that I was honestly surprised. Um, but yeah, let's go over some of the details. So this was made with a budget of $85 million. And domestically it made 148 million, and worldwide it made over 313 million. So this was a success. Um, and this was directed by Jeff Fowler. I'm really sorry if I butchered that last name. Um, I didn't really recognize him from anything else besides this. So initially going into it, it's kind of set up to be this is probably gonna be a bad movie, in a bad video game movie. Even from like I said, Jim Carrey, being Doctor Eggman, probably gonna be the best part about it. But besides that, probably everything. It just seems like it was setting itself up for failure. But let's go over the plot. So, the world needed a hero. It got a hedgehog. Powered with incredible speed, Sonic, played by Ben Schwartz, embraces his new home on Earth until he accidentally knocks out the power grid, and sparking the attention of Uncle Evil Genius Dr. Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey. Now, it's Supervillain versus Supersonic in an all-out race across the globe to stop Robotnik from using Sonic's unique power to achieve world domination. Now, by itself, it sounds like the original. Well, with some deviations, it sounds pretty much like the original Sonic game. Um, well, pretty similar at least. Um, and um, I mean, yeah, it basically just plays out if this was if this was in the Sonic universe. Like if this was like the first introduction of that we ever got to Sonic, this would probably be like the original game in film form, where he has to battle Dr. Eggman or Dr. Robotnik as of this story, um, and uh, it just battles him until he ultimately defeats him. I mean, grandly, that's how the Sonic plot goes. So if you're expecting anything else, I'm sorry, but you're not going to get that here. Um, but let's go over the cast. So we have, like I said, Ben Schwartz as Sonic the Hedgehog. He actually did a fine performance in this film. I mean, Grant, just gonna say this right now. Spoiler territory is gonna happen at some point. I mean, grandly, all my reviews are gonna have spoilers, no doubt about that. But just warning here. Um, I like the fact that in the Sonic games, he's kind of played out as a cocky kind of guy that knows what's going on, and he seems fine with it. But I like the fact in this film they played him up as a as a character with a that seems very lonely, because that's a key part of the story in this is that Sonic in this universe, well, in this film at least, he's just trying to find a friend. Um, because they make several points throughout the film to show that like even like after he meets uh his main co-star, which I'll get to in a bit, he still makes remarks about how like he's still doesn't have a friend technically. So I like the fact that they actually played that up a bit and decided to change his character a bit for the purpose of the story. Um, and I really do give credibility to that he was able to, with the actor voicing him, was able to pull that off, and I really do give him credit for that. Um, Next up we have James Marsden as Tom Wazowski. Um, how would you say it? But yeah, he is the sheriff of Green Hills. That's the town that this film is really set in. And yeah, like I said, he's the sheriff. Sonic. I'll get to this in a bit when I'm talking about my favorite scenes. But he has Sonic has a knack of calling everyone by calling people by like nicknames. So Tom to him, until he says his name, is Donut Lord. And well, actually, even then, like after he tells him his real name, he still calls him Donald Lord until the end of the film. Like as a because the chemistry in the film I think is great, and over the course of the film, it slowly starts to the friendship slowly starts to like become more like it becomes more from like a I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna try and help you to actually becoming friends. And so I really do like the arc between them two. Um, but yeah. Um, we have next up we have the wonderful Jim Carrey as Dr. Ivo Robotnik. Um, and like I said earlier, people were making assumptions that he was going to be the best part about this movie, and I have to agree. Jim Carrey, oh my god, dude, this is like the Jim Carrey that I want to see again ever since like The Mask. Like because in the 90s, like really in like the early to mid 90s, it was like the classic Jim Carrey was like Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask. Like that, like if you watch those three films, it's like classic Jim Carrey. But then over the years, he started playing more dramatic roles, which I don't have a problem with. But he slowly started to move away um from his comedic side and try to become more a dramatic actor, which I have no problem with. But when he tried to delve back into comedy, it never really seemed like to be like old Jim Carrey. Uh, until this movie. I mean, grandly, not really with the mask, because I think that one's like a PG. But really with like dumb. This film is not. I mean, yeah, it's his like charm, like his comedic standards. But since this film is obviously a PG, he isn't like vulgar like he was in um. Well, he wasn't really vulgar, but like especially in like Dumb and Dumber, where um, it's like a lot more dark jokes. This is more like a lighter tone, but it's still like the Jim Carrey charm, which I do appreciate. But like I said, he is single-handedly the best part about this movie. Um, next up we have Tika Sumpter. I butchered that last name probably, unless that's how you say it. But she plays Maddie Wazowski, who is the girl. I don't know if they actually specify. I think it's just she is the girlfriend to Tom. I don't think they're married. I don't think. I'm not exactly sure, but for the context of this review, and I think for in this the story as of this film, they are just boyfriend and girlfriend. Um, she did a fine performance. I mean, granted, she didn't obviously have as many scenes as like Sonic or Tom or Robotnik, but for the scenes that she does have, especially when she becomes a way more important character by the third act, she is a funny. She's a funny character, like especially with like when something happens to Sonic and Tom brings Sonic to her house, like not like to where like she's babysitting, and he finally like gets up and he's like awake. She pulls Tom aside and she's like, "What is this thing?" And then like Tom slowly explains it to her, and she's like, "Okay, I guess I'll go with this." Um, but yeah, we have But by the way, she did a fine performance. We have Lee Majab. I again sorry if I butchered that last name. He plays Agent Stone, who is the right hand man to Robotnik. He did okay. It just seems like he just seems like the bumbling sidekick to Robotnik, and that's kind of like not really how I wanted that character to be. Because in the initial scene when Robotnik makes his appearance, like his first appearance, Agent Stone seems very like straight, and like he knows not to screw around. But then after that, he just seems like kind of like a comedic like a comedic character to go along against Jim Carrey. Um, and I don't think it should have his character should have been like that. I think his character should have been more like a. I mean, yeah, like if you want to have like the like comedic part of this movie, leave it to Jim Carrey. Don't have like I mean, yeah, there's supposed to be funny moments, but it's not supposed to be for basically the entire movie. Um, but um, Agent Stone, it kind of just seems like that they made him to be not maybe not intentionally, but from the way I saw it, it just seems like they tried to they made him like the bumbling idiot sidekick who when Robotnik is about to get Sonic and he doesn't, he pops up and he's like, "Are you alright?" And he's like, "No, you idiot! I almost got him, but he's gone." And he's like, "I brought you iced tea." And he's like, "Really? But I'll take it." And it's just like it just seems like it didn't fit the character. But besides that, he did okay. Um, we have Adam Paley as Wade Whipple, who is the uh he was like the police like the officer friend to Tom, because obviously Tom's the sheriff of Green Hills, and it just seems like that both of them have like a friendly connection. So nice connection there. And like I like the fact that in the final scene, which I'll get to later because that's one of my favorite scenes, that like when Robotnik's about to attack Tom, Wade is just there with a pistol, like, no, I don't think so, buddy. Um, so like I like that camaraderie between them two. We have Frank C. Turner as Crazy Carl, who is initially the only one. Like at the beginning of the story, he's the only human to see Sonic, and is like trying to tell everyone that he's real. Um, and I was like, whatever, crazy Carl, you're crazy. And he's like, it's the Blue Devil, I saw him. And then, like I said earlier, or when I was talking about Wade's character in the final showdown, when Wade pulls up with a pistol, Crazy Carl just comes up with a chainsaw. And he's going on this like whole spiel about it, like, I knew he was real, and you guys are all seeing that he's real. And then it cuts to Robotnik, and it cuts back to them, and Wade's just like, okay, just set that over there. Let Tom and me handle this. Um. So yeah, I like that character, even though he really only has like 3 scenes. Um. And we have Neil McDonough. I don't know how to pronounce that last name unless I just said it right there, McDonough. As Major Bennington. Bennington. I have no idea. I forgot. I think I knew how to say that at one point, but now I'm just blanking out. But he plays the army professional that was in charge of trying to figure out what happened. Because in the context of the story, Sonic gets apparently so depressed that he starts running around this baseball field, and he causes a power outage, and everyone's like, whoa, what's going on here? And then the army is sent in, and the major is initially charged to lead this, and then obviously Dr. Robotnik shows up, and he's like, nope, I'm in charge. You follow my orders. Go stand over there, and let my robots do the work. Um, so yeah, he really only had like I think one scene in the movie. I think he might have had some scenes that were deleted from the film, but I don't really know. It really just seemed like he was like a bit part that they only just decided to squeeze into the film. That's like to show that like Robotnik is taking control. I mean, because obviously he needs to chase down Sonic, because obviously. Um, we have Natasha Rothwell as Rachel, who is the, I think, sister to Maddie. Um, and M- Maludan Niman, I am so sorry if I butchered that name, as JoJo. So those are the two people that Maddie kind of goes out and hangs out with while Tom is doing his sheriff duties in the town. Um, Rachel, Rachel is. I don't think that Rachel likes Tom that much because literally in the first scene that he pops up in, she just goes off and she's like, I dude, why would you like? What is all this talk that you're talking about? Are you? Yeah, I gotta call the FBI. I gotta call the cops. I gotta call the army to get this guy. She's she just goes nuts. And then when it's shown that Sonic, whether he's brought Sonic, she passes out, and then they tie. I don't know if it's JoJo, because that's what I think Rachel's daughter's names is, but somehow she gets tied up to a chair, and I just found her more annoying than helpful because she's just like, get me out of this chair, and I'm like, just shut up. Um, but JoJo, I think I mean, yeah, granted, she really only has like one full scene, and then she has like a bit part in the ending. But she's actually somewhat relevant to the plot because, granted, um, if you look at Sonic's shoes, then it's just like that's just gonna fall apart. But JoJo actually gives him the somewhat. I mean, it's not fully like the shoes that we see in like the games, but it's a very close match. And it's like I think it was like her shoes that she got, that she had lying around. And she's like, oh well, here, like, because she saw like the shoes, like how ragged they were, and she gave Sonic her shoes, which is like the classic red and white design. Which I thought like, oh, that's actually a cute scene. Um, and then and yeah, that's really all I have for the cast. So, I guess let's go over my favorite scenes in the film. Um, uh, I guess first favorite scene is the first encounter with Tom and Sonic, with Eggman or Robotnik, I should say. I keep on calling him Eggman. I mean, because technically that's what his name is now, but in the context of this film and in the early games until I think Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast, he was known in America as Dr. Robotnik. Um, and but yeah, they meet Tom, because he sees the truck outside and he goes like, "Oh, something's up here," and so he puts Sonic in his attic to say like, "Just hide up there for a bit, and I'll deal with this." And then um, I like the fact that he um they start having this little pep talk about seeing if like there was a or if there was a blue alien, quote unquote, that's been a Sonic. If well, I mean, because Eggman calls him like an alien, like a blue alien, but we all know it's Sonic. But like, he's asking if this blue alien is in the house, and Tom's like, well, unless you're talking about like just the regular raccoons that go to my garbage can every night, then no. Um, and then they start having this whole pep talk, and then all of a sudden, Eggman hears something in the kitchen, and he's like, he shoves Tom out of the way, and he goes to the kitchen, and it's literally a raccoon eating this cake that Maddie had given him, because he was gonna go to San Francisco to become a police officer, and not be the sheriff of a quote unquote dingy little town. Um, so they just walk into the kitchen. They see this raccoon eating the cake, and an Eggman. He kind of looks pissed off. Like he's like, "Huh, I'm pretty sure there's something else here." and he searches around the house, and he finds a little strand of hair that came from Sonic. Um, because I think they already found a piece, I believe. Oh no! Because no, that's the first one that he finds. He's like, looks like I was right. You have 5 seconds to tell me, or else my robot's gonna shoot you in the face. And then Sonic pops out and he's like, "Don't hurt him." And Eggman like just screams. He's like, "Oh Jesus, that's it!" And Thomas just decks him in the face. Just like falling, just like, and then, a kind of like a gunfight breaks out. What? Not a gunfight, but like the robots are shooting at them, and they leave, and that's when the whole kind of road trip aspect of the film begins. Um, my second favorite scene will probably have to be uh the initial attack on the truck, like the first attack on Tom's truck, like with the several robots that come out. It's like the initial is like the big truck, and then it's like the small kind of like regular car size robot, and then it's like a robot on one wheel, and then it's like this tiny little drone that, where it's like a basically just a little ball with a rudder on the top, and it's just flying around, and then like I think it's like it initially shoots like a spike through the car to like try and like winch it. They get rid of that, and um then the little car comes out, and I think Sonic deals with that as well because, and then the one wheel buggy comes out, and Tom just smacks it in the face with a flashlight, with like one of those like actually like really long like police officer flashlights. Whacks it with that, it explodes, and then like the tiny little drone comes out, and then like starts using a laser, and it cuts off like the whole roof of the car, like including like the windshield and like the top of the doors. And then it turns out to be like when they just like when Sonic disassembles it, it turns out to be like a grenade or like a sticky bomb, because it gets stuck to his hand, and then uh Tom tries to throw it, and then it gets stuck to his hand, and then Sonic grabs it, and then I think it's because no, it's stuck to his head, and then he tries to get rid of it. It's stuck to his forehead, and then Tom grabs it, tries to throw it, sticks to Tom's hand, and then Sonic grabs it, puts onto his hand, and tries to like wrench it onto a rock, and he's like, "Yeah, I did it," and then it just explodes, knocks him out, and then that's when Tom delivers Sonic to the house where Maddie kind of daycares, and then that's when he gets like the shoes when he wakes up, and then they leave to go to New York to get Sonic's bag of rings. Because the key plot initially for Sonic to go on this kind of road for Tom to help him is to get his bag of rings, because he lost, because when Tom finds him in his shed or his garage, he shoots him with like a trank dart, and Sonic drops his bag of rings. Like he opens one accidentally, and because he sees Tom's shirt and he says San Francisco, so the ring opens up and it transports. Goes to San Francisco. And then the bag of rings drops to the biggest building in San Francisco, and then it closes up, and then so the whole point is to get this bag of rings, and then they travel to San Francisco, and then I'm just gonna say this right now. My third favorite scene is the whole initial end fight at the end. Um, because like I said, because they get to the top of the building, they get his bag of rings. He goes to throw it, and it just bounces off of the one of the robots. And then Eggman or Robotnik, I keep on saying it. Robotnik shows up, and then, like I said earlier, because Sonic has um, a habit of calling people giving people nicknames. Because Tom, like I said earlier, is Donut Lord. Maddie is Pretzel Lady, and then um, Sonic makes like in this scene, or when they're on top of the roof, Sonic makes a comment about how all of his robots look like eggs, and so he calls Robotnik Eggman. And so like I was like, oh, okay, that's actually kind of cool that they gave somewhat of an explanation of how or why he's called Eggman. Because in this universe, it's just Jim Carrey. It's not like in the video games where it's a big fat man, which actually kind of looks like an egg. So that makes sense. And then because the first time he actually, I mean, because to give a brief history for Sonic I mean Sonic fans already know this, but for casual viewers that don't know the whole history in Japan, Robotnik was always called Eggman ever since the first game. Um, it was only here in America, and I think in Europe, that we called him Robotnik for Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Knuckles, CD, um, any other games that were released in like the like in the early to mid 90s, and around, and then Sonic Adventure comes out, and in the second stage, I think, they give an explanation. I don't know exactly how they give it the explanation because I haven't played that game yet, but they give an explanation um of like why he's called Robotnik because well or why they call him because then they start calling him Eggman and then that's how and then but that's basically what he's been called ever since is Eggman even in America. But in this film he's actually called Doctor Robot like Doctor I don't know if they actually say Ivo or they just call him Doctor Robotnik, but I just put in the Ivo because I just think that they might put that in later. But in this scene when they're on top of the roof, Sonic is the first person to call Robotnik Eggman, which I was like, okay, that's actually kind of cool that they actually bothered to actually try and make reference to that, which I think is actually kind of cool. Um, and then like I said, the whole end fight that we go because he comes like he runs around San Francisco and then he goes to I think I think he goes to I forgot what it was. He goes to one place first and then he goes to China, like on the ancient wall of China, and then he goes to Rome. Uh, no, wait, no. He goes to Egypt because the desert and the pyramids, and then he finally gets transported back to Green Hills, and then he gets knocked out, and then that's when the whole like when Tom because Tom has like basically a fisticuffs, a real quick fisticuffs with Eggman. He gets knocked off, and then when Eggman's about to kill Tom, that's when Wade and Crazy Carl come out and they're like, no, I don't think so, sir. And then he gets up and he's like, why? Eggman's like, why would you protect him when he basically almost cost you your life? And it's Tom gives a speech about like how um he's not an alien. His name is Sonic, and he was my friend. And then that's like the spark for Sonic. He's like, oh, dude, now you made me pissed, brother. Now it's time for you to die. Um, and then they had this brawl, which I mean, Sonic doesn't kill Eggman, but he transports him to this planet filled with mushrooms. Because like when he finds out that when these people are after him, he his next stop he says it's a constant thing throughout the movie that his next stop is this mushroom island, just gross, smelly mushrooms. And he's like, I don't want to leave, but I have to. And then finally, in this end sequence, Tom has his bag of rings. He throws it. It opens up a portal to this mushroom island, and Sonic knocks Eggman's ship into this mushroom island, and the ring closes. Which I'm like, yes, like perfect conclusion, and a way to call back to something that's been a constant kind of throughout the film. So I like that. Um, fun. I guess we're gonna go on to my fun facts, and then I'm gonna talk about the score, and then we're gonna go on to my final rating, and then the initial final stuff I talk about. So I guess I technically have two fun facts, but I only have one written down over here. Is that what attracted Jim Carrey to the project was that his daughter was a big fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog games, growing up. Was that yeah? So according, I don't know. I read this on IMDb. Um, Apparently, what attracted Jim Carrey so much to playing Eggman in this film so much was that I think his daughter told him about or he already knew what Sonic was because his daughter was playing the games for years by this point, so he wanted to be a part of that for his daughter. So, I mean, that's dedication right there. It kind of reminds me about Raul Julia in the Street Fighter movie, where he was still dying of cancer, but he still did the Street Fighter movie uh, for his kids, um, which was his last role before he did unfortunately pass away. So yeah, he still did it for his kids, so I give him credit for that. Um, and I guess the second fun fact that I have, which is kind of this is the this is kind of a sad fact, um, is that I mean obviously we know what the I mean if you guys haven't seen the trailers or have seen the movie, um, we all if you guys have seen it, you guys obviously know what the initial design of Sonic was. It was not the best. Um, but over the course of the film, people have spent hours working on this, and I think by the time that the film was complete and was about to release in theaters, all those people that worked on this movie didn't have jobs. They lost them because of working on this movie, which I think is a real shame. And so it was kind of sad seeing, or kind of hearing about while people were going to see this movie and talking about how it looked so great. You've actually had people um, losing their jobs because they worked on this movie very passionately, and now they're still looking for jobs now, and it's kind of sad to see this happen to them. But best of luck to whoever worked on this movie that did lose their jobs. Let's all hope that they did either get their jobs back or got new jobs, and it's working out fine for them. So, uh, really hope you guys are doing all right out there. Um, the music in this film was composed by Tom Hockenberg. Um, and I gotta admit it right now, this is like one of those movies where in the like watching the movie with the score, it works amazing, but listening to it by itself probably wouldn't be the best listening experience. Cause I mean, yeah, granted, the music is great. And I believe there's a soundtrack release on Enchada Records, which I will link down in the description below, so you guys can go and check that out. Um, but um, so but yeah, like I said, it's kind of like one of those scores where, in the context of the movie, it sounds great, but trying to listen to it by itself, it's not the best listening experience. But if you guys do want to again check out the score, it will be down in the description below. Um, Final thoughts about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Earlier, when I said I was honestly surprised by this film, I really was. I mean, granted, I thought I was gonna probably like this movie somewhat. I mean, for Jim Carrey, if the movie sucked, he was probably gonna be the best part about this movie. But I went into this movie with no expectations. But the film was good. It was actually really great, and I do recommend to anyone who wants to watch this movie. It is a PG. You can literally see it right there. PG, right there. So if you want to watch this with your family, it's totally okay. I don't. There is no crude humor in this movie. Um, I think the strongest word they say in this movie is hell. Um, but even then, it's not really that bad. I think it was only used in like the final fight when Tom's like beating, beating up Robotnik, like when he gets onto a ship. But besides that, there's no foul language. I mean, obviously there's fight scenes, but we can like the kids are gonna enjoy it. I think if you put this on for your kids, they will enjoy it. Um, but that's just me. but I highly recommend this movie. I'm gonna give this film an 8 out of 10. Uh, as a video game adaptation, this is one of the better uh uh film adaptations. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. I probably would put this along with like probably Mortal Kombat and I mean the Super Mario Brothers movie because I did say that that film I liked it unironically. I mean, yeah, I gotta admit it's a bad movie overall, but I mean, as an adaptation of the Mario franchise, it sucked. But as a movie, it was okay. So, this one I think it's a good adaptation of the Sonic story, and as a movie, it was great. So I do recommend this movie. If you could find it, highly recommend it. Don't think it's that expensive. I think it's only about maybe 20, 15 bucks. So highly recommend it. Um, so yeah, that really ends this review. I don't have actually a movie planned out for next week. So if you guys have a suggestion for what movies I should do next, leave it down in the comments down below. You can check over here. Click. Actually, I don't know. I haven't done this in a while, so maybe check over here or here, wherever it is, for my face to subscribe to my channel, or you can just click at that bar down below to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon to get notifications on when new videos are coming out. And over here, I believe, you can check out the channel update review episode that I did along with Home Alone 2, I think, that review. And again, leave it down in the comments down below which movie I should do next. So anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this review and stay tuned for next week. Live long and prosper. Out.